Malcolm X was more than a civil rights icon, he was a symbol of fire, fearlessness, and transformation. But behind the legend was a man shaped by crime, betrayal, surveillance, and secrets darker than most imagine. From his days as Detroit Red to the prison nicknamed Satan, Malcolm's journey was anything but ordinary. These scandalous and shocking truths will make you see him in a way you never have before. Number 1. From little to Satan, his youth, street life, and marriage. Before he became Malcolm X, he was Malcolm Little, and before that, he was known on the streets as Detroit Red, and among prison inmates as Satan. That was no nickname for show. As a young man, he openly rejected religion, cursed God, and taunted believers. One former inmate recalled, he hated the church. Hated the Bible. We called him Satan because he bragged about it. After a violent childhood, father murdered, mother institutionalized, siblings scattered, Malcolm found identity in hustling, drugs, and fast living. He joined gangs, ran numbers, and bragged about manipulating women. In 1946, at age 20, he was sentenced to 8 to 10 years for burglary. It was in prison that he transformed intellectually and spiritually. In 1958, Malcolm married Betty Sheabaz, a nurse and fellow Muslim. But whispers followed him, alleged affairs, emotional distance, and secret jealousy from within the Nation of Islam. Betty once said, "You can't compete with a movement. How does a man go from Satan to Savior?" And did that darkness ever leave him? Number 2. Pimping, drug dealing, and male clients? Malcolm X's criminal past wasn't just rough, it was sleazy. According to his autobiography and later biographers, Malcolm worked as a drug runner, burglar, and even a pimp. But the most explosive claim? That he had male clients. Bruce Perry's 1991 biography alleges that Malcolm had sexual encounters with wealthy white men for money during his Detroit Red days. One man in particular, Paul Lennon, a middle-aged businessman, supposedly paid for Malcolm's clothes and housing. A former associate claimed, Malcolm didn't see gender, he saw hustle. You pay, he'd play. The FBI reportedly documented such allegations in surveillance files, although much remains redacted or missing. David Garrow, another Pulitzer Prize-winning historian, reignited the discussion in 2023 by claiming that these stories were credible and consistent. His family and followers strongly deny the claims, accusing biographers of defamation. Still, the rumors persist in academic circles and in FBI vaults. Was this an act of survival in a racist economy, or something more personal? Number 3. Was the Nation of Islam planning to kill him for years? Well, before Malcolm X officially left the Nation of Islam in 1964, insiders claim his fate was already sealed. According to Carl Evans, the Judas Factor, top NOI leaders were alarmed by his growing influence and independent thinking. By 1962, some reportedly saw him as a traitor in waiting. Tensions exploded when Malcolm exposed Elijah Muhammad for fathering multiple children with teenage secretaries despite preaching sexual purity. It shattered my faith, Malcolm admitted. His controversial remark about JFK's assassination being chickens coming home to roost got him suspended, but many believe that was just a pretext. In 1964, Malcolm allegedly warned, "They'll try to silence me like they did others before. But I'll go out speaking the truth." Was he a rebel, or did he simply know too much to be allowed to live? Number 4. The FBI codenamed him Enemy Number 1. Malcolm X was under FBI surveillance for over a decade, and not just casually. Declassified files show the agency labeled him a key agitator and considered him more dangerous than Martin Luther King Jr. or even the Black Panthers. J. Edgar Hoover personally demanded weekly updates on Malcolm's location and speeches. The government placed wiretaps in his hotel rooms, mosques, and even bugged his car. Informants were embedded within his circle, including Gene Roberts, a close associate who later turned out to be NYPD undercover. One 1964 memo chillingly stated, "Neutralization must be achieved by any means necessary." A phrase disturbingly close to Malcolm's own rhetoric. What exactly did the government fear, and did they help light the match? Number 5. Mecca changed him but left him exposed. After splitting from Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X made his pilgrimage to Mecca in April 1964, and it changed everything. There, he saw Muslims of all races praying together and experienced a more universal form of Islam. For the first time, he softened his views on white people, writing, "White men with blue eyes treated me as a brother." He returned as El Hajj Malik el Sheabaz, preaching Pan-African unity and global solidarity rather than strict black separatism. But this shift confused many followers and left him politically isolated, without a movement, funding, or formal protection. His transformation was spiritual, but it also made him more vulnerable. Enemies from all sides took notice. Did Mecca offer him clarity or make him a marked man? Number 6. The assassination plot may have included the NYPD. On February 21, 1965, Malcolm X was shot 21 times in the Audubon Ballroom, 7 bullets in his chest alone. He died at age 39. But the plot wasn't just internal. Recently uncovered evidence suggests New York police and possibly federal agencies knew the attack was coming and did nothing. 1 week before the murder, Malcolm's house was firebombed. The police barely investigated. On the day of the assassination, his usual security team was missing, thanks to an alleged setup involving the NYPD's Bureau of Special Services. Gene Roberts, an undercover cop posing as Malcolm's bodyguard, was present at the shooting, then claimed he'd tried to save him. Decades later, even the Manhattan DA admitted, this was not justice. Why did the police stand down? And what did they gain from his silence? Number 7. He may have known his killers personally. Talmadge Hayer, later Mujahid Halim, one of the men convicted of Malcolm's murder, admitted his guilt but insisted the other 2 men arrested were innocent. In later interviews, he named 4 different men, all members of the Nation of Islam's Newark Mosque No. 25, as his co-conspirators. Yet those names were never followed up on by authorities. Rumors persist that one of the shooters had once been close to Malcolm, and may have even dined at his home. FBI files reveal Malcolm suspected members of the Newark Mosque and warned friends, "They've got orders, and they're waiting." Was Malcolm betrayed by men he once called brothers? Number 8. The autopsy was rushed and photos sealed. Malcolm's autopsy was conducted just hours after his death. Despite 21 gunshots and dozens of witnesses, the official report was vague. The city sealed some of the crime scene photos for decades. Family members and legal scholars have repeatedly questioned why no federal investigation occurred, despite the political nature of the murder. In fact, the ballroom was cleaned just hours after the shooting, before forensic teams had properly examined the area. Bullet holes were patched. Chairs rearranged. One investigator later said, "It looked like a setup. Like someone didn't want the truth found." Number 9. He was taking racism to the world stage. In his final year, Malcolm X was planning to take the U.S. government before the United Nations, accusing it of human rights violations against Black Americans. He traveled across Africa, visiting Egypt, Ghana, and Nigeria, meeting leaders like Kwame Nkrumah and even speaking with Fidel Castro. He called racism a global crime, not just a civil issue, and hoped to unite African and non-aligned nations against U.S. hypocrisy. Intelligence agencies took notice. The CIA tracked his travels, worried he was building an international anti-American coalition. Some now argue that his assassination wasn't just personal or local, but geopolitical. Did Malcolm X die because he became too powerful beyond America? Number 10. The Sheabaz family's endless tragedy. After Malcolm's death, Betty Sheabaz raised 6 daughters alone, without help from the Nation of Islam or the government. In the 1970s, she considered suing the nation for $2 million, but threats and pressure made her back down. In 1995, their daughter Kubila Sheabaz was arrested for allegedly plotting to kill Louis Farrakhan, whom she blamed for her father's death. The hitman turned out to be an FBI informant, and many believe she was set up. She avoided prison through a plea deal, but the scandal was national news. Then in 1997, Betty died from burns after their 12-year-old grandson, Malcolm Sheabaz, set fire to her apartment.